Peacemaker is one of the shows that catches you completely off guard. Yeah, you expect the action, the wild jokes, maybe a few over-the-top kills. That's just who he was in the Suicide Squad. But what you don't expect is the heart, because underneath all the chaos, this show has something real to say. It dives into guilt, loneliness, and what happens when a man who spent his whole life doing the wrong thing decides he wants to do right. And in my opinion, it took me completely off guard. It is unexpectedly deep, sometimes even inspiring, not too over the top. And I know I went on a little hiatus, and I'm sorry for like lying and saying I would upload weekly in my last upload, or maybe my Invincible video, but there's just been a lot going on, moving all my setup and everything. But hopefully now I'll be able to keep myself accountable enough to get videos out for you guys at least once a week, maybe once a week and a half, 2 weeks. We'll figure it out as we go, but I'm going to be actively trying to work on videos and come up with ideas, also just get better at what I love to do. But quick heads up, there will be spoilers ahead for all of season 1, so if you haven't actually seen season 1, either watch this video and then go watch it, or just go watch it and then come back to this video. And that's all I have for you now, so let's jump right into what I thought of Peacemaker. First, we're going to talk about Suicide Squad and how it leads into Peacemaker. Peacemaker somehow survives that bullet wound from Bloodsport and gets dragged right back into another mission. Except this time, he's not with supervillains or other heroes. He's with a team of misfits who can barely stand each other. There's Hardcore, the tough and hard and closed off Argus agent. Then there's Economos, the IT guy just trying to survive. He's like a big wuss. And then you have Adebayo. She's a news to the group and she has a big secret, and she's actually Amanda Waller's daughter. And then you have Vigilante, who is my personal favorite character. It's Peacemaker's psychotic best friend, who somehow manages to be both terrifying and hilarious. But what's the mission, you might ask? Well, they're actually going to be trying to stop an alien invasion. And the aliens are called butterflies. Butterflies are literal alien parasites taking over human hosts. It sounds insane, I know, but like most James Gunn projects, he comes up with some crazy or an interesting way to just make it interesting. You know, you can never kind of predict what this guy's gonna do. And that's kind of the genius of it, because while the team's out fighting aliens, at the same time, another battle is happening inside Peacemaker himself. The show keeps circling back to one thing, his guilt. Whether that's over killing Rick Flag Jr. in the Suicide Squad, and at the moment Flag looks at him saying,
"Peacemaker. What a joke."
That moment really haunts him, and throughout season 1 we watch him wrestle with what that actually means. He's been raised to believe peace is worth any cost, even murder. But now he's starting to realize that maybe peace means nothing if you lose yourself chasing it. And that's where the show really shines. The action's fun, the music hits hard, and the comedy lands. But it's the quieter moments that really make this show so good. Like Peacemaker sitting at home crying, or joking his way through trauma because that's all he's ever known. By the time you get to episode 6, that scene where he's forced to confront his father, Augie, everything just breaks open. Augie isn't just a villain, he's the root of Peacemaker's entire worldview. And when Peacemaker finally stands up to him, it's not just about ending a threat, it's about breaking a cycle. Now I'm going to kind of want to talk about where we leave the characters, and after the chaos of the final battle, the team's unraveling, the betrayal, the butterflies, twisted plans to quote unquote save humanity by enslaving everyone, and everything and everyone has changed at this point in the show. And on top of all that, Adebayo exposes her mother Amanda Waller's black ops to the world, outing Task Force X and her mother's corruption. Hardcore, who started the season emotionally closed off, becomes the heart of the team, finally letting people in, even if she still has trust issues by the end. Economos, the guy who was always the butt of the joke, he really gets a really emotional moment. You can really feel for his character and understand where he comes from. Now we're gonna talk about Vigilante. Vigilante is absolutely still insane, but somehow he's one of the most loyal people in the show, which is beyond me. It's got to be something to do with like his fucking psychosis or whatever he's got. I'm not a psychologist. But as for Peacemaker, he ends the season sitting on his porch, alone, but not really alone. He's being haunted, literally, by visions of his dead father. But he's also surrounded by something he's never really had before, and that's people who care about him. And if I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of the beauty of the show, I feel like, because you see this whole arc from all these characters and it just really all comes to fruition. And this show could have easily been cynical or just blood or like dark humor jokes, but instead it finds a heart in a guy who's realizing peace doesn't mean much if you can't forgive yourself. And that's just a really strong punchline, especially for me, in my opinion. I hope you guys agree with that. But I know I've been yapping, okay? But if I had to describe Peacemaker in one sentence, it'd really be It's about learning to be human again. Every character in the show is broken in some way, and yet they all find small moments of grace. Hardcore is learning to trust again. Adebayo is standing up to her mom. Economos is finding the littlest amount of self-worth. And Peacemaker is finally realizing that maybe he doesn't just have to be his father's son anymore. James Gunn has always loved telling stories about outcasts and people society writes off as lost causes, and that really fits Peacemaker in the show perfectly. And not to compare this to other movies and TV shows, but this is right up there in my opinion with Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, except this one's smaller, more grounded, and less major characters. And at the end of the show, there's this moment where the butterflies are gone, the dust settles, and you realize the show isn't about saving the world, it's about whether this broken man can ever save himself. And I know I've said that a couple times, I'm sorry it keeps going back to that, but that's kind of, in my opinion, like the biggest takeaway from the show, in my opinion, is can this broken man figure out how to become better and do better, become the hero he wants to be. But yeah, that's what the whole season builds towards. Every joke, every gunfight, every awkward team fight or interaction is quietly leading Peacemaker to the moment on the porch where he finally stops hiding behind the mask, both literally and figuratively. He doesn't fix everything, he doesn't magically just get better, but he finally understands that peace isn't something you earn through violence, it's something you choose. And that's another reason why I love this show. It's messy, it's funny, it's unhinged, but it's also deeply human. James Gunn didn't just make another superhero spin-off, he made a story about what it means to unlearn who you were told to be and start becoming who you actually are. For a show called Peacemaker, it's kind of ironic, but kind of perfect that it really is about finding peace with yourself. Thank you for joining me in today's movie review, or I should say TV show review in today's case. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and feel free to check out my previous one. I put a lot of work into these reviews and I try to improve on each one, so if you can, check it out. It tells the algorithm my videos are worth watching, and as always, stay curious and let's keep the conversation going.